Hello, I'm Terry Crews. I'm here for Rookie Magazine. I'm going to answer a few questions. It's kind of cool because the article is called Ask a Grown Man. And I'm pretty grown, kind of. Not in my head. But I'm going to start out with question number one. One of my best friends recently became the president of a school club that I have, number one, I've been in longer, and number two, I've worked harder for. I'm trying to be supportive and happy for him, but I'm still really angry and jealous. I'm worried he's going to mess it up and I'm going to be powerless to help because I don't really have any power in the club. All I want to do is get over it and accept it, but it's really hard for me not to envy him. Any advice? From BM, 16 years old, from Detroit. Well, B, first of all, you got to examine what you believe. The biggest thing is people tend to think that things are limited. People tend to think that there's only so many opportunities, and if that guy gets it, then I won't have something. I have to battle with this all the time, even in the acting field, when you see something that you've auditioned for and somebody else got it, and you start to wonder, man, that should have been me. I wanted that. Then you get really jealous. Well, the problem is, and the big thing is, and one thing that I discovered is that it's endless. There's always a new opportunity. There really is no limit to the opportunities that are out there if you just keep looking. Now, it's not a thing where there's only so many opportunities and you won't get it, or if someone else gets it, you won't get it. The big deal is, what you got to realize is that you need everybody to succeed for you to succeed. If you went to Fifth Avenue in New York City and everything was all Gucci, and Gucci won, Gucci is the number one store. In fact, all the stores in Fifth Avenue are Gucci. Well, what would happen is no one would go. They would discover that, wait a minute, man, it's all Gucci. There's no choices. There's nobody else here. And the thing is, what you need Gucci to succeed, they need Louis Vuitton to succeed. They need Prada to make it. They need Bottega Veneta to make it. They need all the stores on Fifth Avenue to make it. Same thing with restaurants, same thing with everything, but it's also the same thing with people. You need other people to succeed in order for you to succeed. And, I had discovered this, and once I started seeing that, and once I changed what I believe, I started being happy for people when they got there. I was happy for people, and I was able to cheer them on, knowing that their success equals all of our success. And it's really the truth. I am not lying to you. That is the truth, and I'm telling you, it is so true that there's nothing in the world that's going to refute that knowledge right there. Everyone's success means your success. It does. It does not mean you miss anything. And that's the greatest trick that's being played on humanity right now, is that when someone else succeeds, you lose. That's not the case. All right, question number 2. I got a conditional offer to the university of my dreams, but I am sure that I screwed up on the exams that the conditions are based on. The results are out soon, and I am almost positive I didn't make it. How do I brace myself for or come to terms with the impending rejection? As of now, I'm brought to tears every time I think of it. CK, 17 years old. Well, CK, hey man, we all do a bunch of things that we're not prepared for. I've done auditions. I've done, tests. When I went to school and I went in and totally flunked and failed and the whole thing. But let me tell you, failure is necessary for success. The way you get past this, you didn't do good. And you probably do have a rejection letter coming. And this is what you're saying. Now, you still got to let things play out. Okay, I remember when I was getting drafted by the NFL, and I thought the draft was over. I was literally in tears in my wife's arms, like, man, it's over. I'm never going to be in the league. It's done. It's whatever. And I was wiped out. I was through, finished, kaput. But the thing is, the draft wasn't over. It was. I thought it was done, but it was really the 11th round, and I got drafted in the 11th round of the NFL. I ended up playing 7 years in and out all over the place, but it wasn't over, man, or miss, either one. But I'm just trying to tell you that it will never, ever, ever be over until you quit. You don't lose until you say you lost. Okay? The key is it's always win or learn. It's never win or lose. Losses are a choice. You take a L. You take it. You receive it. You take a loss. But if you don't take it, you didn't lose. You have to look and reframe. What did I learn from this? How can I get better? Next time, you'll be prepared. Because there's no one smarter than you. There's no one more capable than you. There are only people who have studied and done what they needed to do in order to pass, in order to succeed. And you have to find out what it is you need to do. Now, we all fail. Failure is necessary. Failure is a part of life. This is what we're supposed to do. But that's the only way we learn. It's the only way. Relax. When you're a baby, when you walk, you fall. You fall down. You hurt yourself, and you know, hey, wait a minute. I can't go there. I can't do that anymore. And the key is to take small baby steps and realize the little thing that you need to do in order to succeed. So hopefully I helped you. And if you did not make it, there's always another way. Always another way. You didn't get into the university of your choice, but I know a lot of people who go to community college for 2 years and then transfer to the university of their choice. But guess what? It's the same degree. That's for real. It's the same degree. If you went to a community college for 2 years, and you saved yourself some money by going for 2 years in a community college. So relax, man. Relax. There are a lot of people who failed and failed their admissions tests and didn't whatever. And let me tell you, there's a lot of people who made it and did not become successful. So look at this realistically and understand this is not a gigantic part of your life. You've got to scale this down and find out what you're going to learn. Next question. There are two people I'm close friends with. Let's call them X and Y, and I have no intention of breaking either relationship. But the problem is that Y deeply hates X, to the extent where Y's told me it's X's fault if Y kills herself, and X doesn't know she's hated. To make things more complex, there's a whole bunch of romantic history between us, and we used to hang out a lot as a trio last year, but now I just see them separately. I think they're both great people, and I love them a lot. I just don't know what to do, if anything. Zoe, 15, from Sydney. Well, Zoe, I noticed at the beginning of this question, you said you have no intention of breaking either relationship. Now, you kind of let me know right off that even if I told you the answer, you have no intention of doing that. There are people who are caustic. There are people who are toxic. And when someone comes to you about another person saying that they're responsible for them killing themselves, first of all, they need professional help. They need to see someone who can help them work through their problems. And the fact that you are in the middle and that there was romance involved and the whole thing, let me tell you something. I think it is a mistake for you to be involved with somebody in this relationship. Now, you have to choose. Sometimes you have to make a choice. And certain toxic people, what happens is if you befriend them and they know you're their friend, they'll start to hate you. And you didn't have anything to do with that stuff. So you really, really have to determine who you want to be around, what kind of person you want to be. Do you really want to help people? Because sometimes the best help that some people can get is by leaving them alone. That's for real. These are things that, it's funny because you tend to feel like being a friend, you always have to pick up when they call. You always have to be there for them. You always have to do that. But there's sometimes there are friends that drain you. There are friends that take all your energy and you don't know why. There are friends that are manipulating you. Ask yourself why you are in this situation with X and Y. That is really your question to answer. It's really not about X or Y. It's about you. What do you want to do? Who do you want to be? So, because sometimes being a true friend is telling people what's real, telling people what they need to hear in love, not being rude, but in love and caring for each one. But sometimes it's leaving people alone. Sometimes you have to end a relationship in order to save yourself and them in a lot of ways. There are a lot of relationships I had in my life that I knew were toxic and that I had to get away from. And you know what? If they're if they're meant to be and things are happening good, they always come back around. Once people mature and once people understand and get better, things always come back. But sometimes you got to let people go. A lot of times it's really about you latching onto them. And you think that they need you and you want to be needed. So, ask yourself why you need to be needed this way. There sounds like there's something that you're trying to fulfill that is not your place. And I'm being real with you because I love you. Last question. I'm really worried that I'm emotionally abusive towards my boyfriend. I feel like I inadvertently have a tendency to emotionally manipulate or guilt trip him, which often comes from a place of wanting comfort or from inevitable reactions to his criticism, misery, or anger, such as crying. It's crying. But I think in the long run, it makes me emotionally abusive. Do you know any resources or have any advice that would help me figure out whether or not I actually am and how I could stop other than breaking up with him, which I would do if I became worse? Thanks. Wow. I guess the big thing is there are some books that I read. One is called Love Without Hurt, which blew me away. So Love Without Hurt. And it's really about empathizing and not abusing, because what happens is you feel like you love this person and you feel like they are everything in your life. So you latch on so hard that you are trying to control the other person. And when the other person doesn't do things the way you want to, you lash out. You become abusive. You do this kind of thing. But the thing is, and I say this on a lot of interviews, and I say this, and I'll continue to say this forever. It's impossible to love someone and control them at the same time. Anytime you feel that angst of control and you feel abusive, you're trying to get them to do something you want them to do, love you the way you want to be loved. But the key is, if they don't want to do it, it's not love anyway. What's the big deal having a boyfriend and you got him locked up in the basement? And you like, this is my boyfriend, he's here with me forever, and you got him and locked him up and he does whatever you say. Well, that's a robot or a slave. That's not love. And vice versa with a wife or a girlfriend. There's no way. Everything has to be free. Everyone has to be free to do what they want. Now, the thing is, you tell your boyfriend you are free to do whatever you want to do. But I'm free to do whatever I want to do too. See, that's the thing. There have been people I told that, and they were like, "Oh, that's great." Yeah, I said, "You're free to do whatever you want to do," and they go, "Wow, thank you." But then I say, "I'm free to do whatever I want to do," and they go, "Hey, what does that mean? Oh, what you trying to say? What you trying to do?" Well, the thing is that freedom works both ways. And freedom becomes a wonderful, empathetic compromise. I can't do things that I know would hurt my wife. You know what I mean? Even if I could do it and whatever, and it wasn't that bad, but let me tell you something. If I know it really, really offends her, then I wouldn't do it. And that's the thing. It's one of those things where she does the same thing for me. But once you get into the place where you don't care and you're like, I want you to be who I want you to be, and you do what I want to do, that's when you start calling names, you get abusive, you start manipulating, and you know it. You said it. You know what you're doing. You know it. You're trying to control him. You got to let go. You got to let go. And you got to be willing to lose him. You have to be. Because the thing is that no one wants to know that they're needed to the point of somebody is miserable. I mean, everyone wants to be loved, but being needed, you put a person in your life and he becomes, kind of like a figure that he could never live up to. You know what I mean? Because he's not perfect. No one is. So you have to know how to be by yourself. Learn what it is to be by yourself. Learn how it is to enjoy being you so much to the fact that if he decides I'm going over here, hey, you know what? You can wish the best for him. And what happens is, and what's so crazy, is when you do that, he'll love you more. He will. And he'll say, what was I thinking? But all these things, all these attempts to grab and hold and pull and manipulate just pushes people away. There's only one way to do it, and that's by letting people go free. And when they come back, it's because they want to be there. When they come and knock on the door, you want it to be like he could have been anywhere else in the world, but he's with you because he wants to be. And that's true love. It's the only way. Peace. I'm Terry Crews. Thank you, Rookie Magazine. This has been fun. Man, day turned into night on these questions. Thank you very much. Love you all. Peace. Ask a grown man.